How's it, and welcome to the Suzuki Swift Sport. It's got a booster jet engine in it. Okay, so the Swift Sport's got this 1.4 litre booster jet engine, which produces about 103 kilowatts and a bunch of Newton meters. All of that's really cool on paper. The question I have though is the Suzuki Swift Sport a proper hot hatch? Does it sort of meet the criteria of fun hot hatch? Does it go quick? Does it handle well? And is it an absolute hoot to drive? Because I've been in a couple of hot hatches that are hot hatches and like they're really just lame ducks. So I'm on a mission today to find out whether or not I think this thing is a hot hatch. The obvious place to do it is not in traffic like this, so we're heading out of town and I'm going to go and find one or two mountain passes that I know are good to drive and will tell us whether or not this is a hot hatch. Okay, so the first pass we are going to give some horns to is Suzuki, which goes from Stellenbosch over to Benil. This is a cool little pass, lots of sort of wide, semi-fast bends, so like nothing tight and too rigorous. I love the fact that they call this thing a flipping booster jet engine. It's so cool. Having driven here, I can tell you this much. This little Suzuki is a ton of fun. It just feels like it's got more grunt than you'd expect. You like, throttle is very responsive. There's also only like one mode really. Like they're flappy paddles in the gearbox, so you can change gears manually if you need to. This car's so much fun. So you can change gears if you need to, but this gearbox actually does a really good job. Brakes are really accurate as well. Handling the steering is quite sharp. So as I said, there's only one mode. There's no like, you can't select multiple modes here. There's no like comfort or dynamic or sport or anything. There's like drive and that's it. And it's really good. I have brought many fast cars over this mountain pass, and this little Sport is producing as much fun as like $1 million BMW. But I'm actually amazed at how well this thing handles in corners and just how accurate the steering really is. Gosh, that was a good ride. That was really good. Woo! So I'm just coming into Franschhoek and I'm going to go through Franschhoek, and I'm actually going to do Franschhoek Pass at the back end. That's a lot tighter. The corners there are sharper, so they're slower, where Suzuki is actually quite speedy. It's a lot quicker than I seem to recall, but Franschhoek Pass has a lot more sort of intense corners. So let's see how the Swift Sport handles that. Welcome to the Franschhoek Pass. I've kicked this puppy into what they label here as M, but like the sport mode of the gearbox. It still changes gears automatically, so I don't know why it's called manual. I'm imagining M was that manual. What it really does is keep the revs exactly what we want through here. Slight delay on the paddle, but not the end of the world. It doesn't sound mega. It doesn't like sound bad either. I suppose like small engines don't necessarily have enormous sound. We're not V8ing or V12ing or anything like that here, so can't expect too much from the sound department. What I can expect something from though is the handling department, and this car is honestly such a surprise in the handling department. It's so grippy. Revs like it's nobody's business. Like a really free revving peppy engine. Like, this is great. This is such a load of fun. Doesn't gain, like, you know what it is, it's not some traffic. Let's talk about the car while we're sitting behind these guys. So here's the thing with this car, it's not like mega power. You don't like kind of get to I don't even know what the 0 to 100 is here, but it's like completely irrelevant because that's not how you're going to drive this. You're not going to get to 100 in like 3 seconds. It's probably about 5.5 seconds, I imagine, which is more than enough. But what makes this car brilliant is that it's just so much fun to drive. You're going fast enough to really have a lot of fun, but you're not going fast enough to really get yourself into any kind of trouble. I mean, like over the speed limit, you're in trouble anyway. It's not like death-defyingly quick, but it's fast enough to just be an absolute hoot on any mountain pass. And then of course you just leave it in drive and you drive it like a normal human being, and it's quite decent as well. There's no drama here. It doesn't, the suspension is stiffer than like a normal Swift is, but not so stiff that you kind of feel you need to relax it a little when you drive it on daily roads. The steering is, I know I've said this like 9 times now, but the steering on this thing is really, really good. Right, let's go. Let's talk about the infotainment Talk about the infotainment system for a minute while we come down the back end of this pass. It is so gorgeous out here. Holy cow. I love Cape Town roads. They are fantastic. Anyways, so the infotainment system is good enough. Screen size is okay. It could be bigger, but it doesn't actually matter. It does Apple CarPlay. I've got a bit of a janky cable, so it's been a bit of a pain in the ass, but the cable's completely frayed. But the CarPlay works as well. CarPlay works. The only kind of real annoyance I would say I have with the infotainment system and the CarPlay in particular is every time I unplug my phone, it immediately kicks back onto the radio, even if I switch the infotainment system off. And so if I've had the volume cranked up and I turn my sound off, then like it's just a bit janky. Otherwise, the screen response is okay. It's a little bit annoying that there is no volume knob, so there's nothing you can turn to adjust the volume with. It's like a slider thing. You can either touch the plus or the minus at the top. How cool is this corner? This car is just incredible. So you can either touch the plus or minus at the top or the bottom, or you can slide your finger up and down. The sliding your finger up and down is the saving grace. You're not like furiously tapping the thing to get the volume down. You just slide it down on it. You just slide it down and the volume slides down. I'm just gobsmacked at how good this little thing's handling is in corners. This is properly fun. I got all you need. I got all you need. I got all you need. Here we go, Baines Clear for 25 kilometers. The other thing I've been really impressed with on this car is, despite me driving relatively quickly, so I've had speed pretty much at about 120 most of the way, and obviously I've done these mountain passes, lots of high revving, and those kind of things normally really eat into your fuel economy. But I've been averaging 7 liters per 100 the entire way here, which is actually really, really impressive for the type of driving that I've been doing. I reckon if you drove a little bit slower and you took it even easier, then you could even improve on that. The road is quite choppy, so I'm kind of getting a feel for the suspension here. This is quite bumpy. You don't have the world's best performance suspension happening here, but it's actually not bad. Like, I've driven more expensive cars that have handled this kind of road a lot worse. This like Swift Sport really is the kind of car that it just keeps on giving. Like, it just doesn't want to disappoint me, you know. Delivering in every single way that you'd expect. It's really well priced. It's like 250 grand. Like, you can't buy a Polo GTI for this kind of money, and trust me, I love the Polos, but this for the money is just probably one of the best performance cars that you can buy. Certainly is the most fun that you can buy at that price range. This road is probably narrow. Excellent. The suspension is really good. The economy is great. I mean, how many people can drive a car, and when you're at a party and they say to you, hey, what do you drive? You say, like, I drive a car. It's got a booster jet engine. I just love that booster jet thing. ride comfort has actually been incredible as well. I got these like buckety sport seats things going. They're actually really comfy. Come on, Mr. Z3, show us what you got. Thank you kindly. It gives you something back. The thing with the Swift is like, it's just so adorable. It's like small and cute and fast, and it looks good. It goes like the absolute clappers. Got a bit of a personality, you know, like you come away from driving this feeling like you've not been alone on the road. Like you've had someone with you. The nice thing about this car as well is that it's actually really small. So trying to fit it through tight roads like this is actually really easy. And if you look at my last couple of videos, you'll see that I threw an A7 through Meyeringsport recently. And that was like a big heavy car. You kind of felt it lumbering around. Like the suspension on that car probably costs as much as this entire Swift does. This car is just... I mean, this thing is an absolute blast. Okay, if you're buying any kind of performance car and you've not driven one of these with some gusto, then you really have to get out there and do that. This is an incredible car. So then, have we answered the question? Is the Suzuki Swift Sport a hot hatch? And it is undoubtedly a hot hatch. In fact, I think it is one of the best hot hatches money can buy, not just in value, but in the fun, the excitement, the joy that this little car evokes. Absolute treat to drive. Thanks for watching. I'm going to end the video here, and I am going to keep pounding this little car around this mountain road. It's been an absolute treat having you guys with me, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.